Yo, what's the dealio, man? Listen, you already know I got a straight banger for you today. All right. So in this video, what we're gonna talk about is we're gonna recap November and we're gonna go over December. All right. I got 4 stocks that I'm gonna be looking at to swing trade this month. All right. I'm gonna give you guys the entry prices on these 4 stocks. All right. And then we're gonna go over what happened in the month of November. All right. The last couple months were absolutely insane from a perspective of volatility. Market went crazy up, down, everything, right? So we're going to spend a lot of our time on the charts in this video because you guys already know I like to focus on the charts and also technical analysis. All right. Fundamental analysis, it is important, but a lot of times you'll hear people say, don't worry about the news and focus on the technicals. All right. So as long as a company is, profitable and they're solvent and they're doing all the things that they need to be doing, you do want to understand like the DNA of an actual company, of an actual stock. Different stocks, they do move differently, and you want to understand kind of like how that CEO thinks and stuff like that. But outside of that, I'm looking at the charts. All right. I'm looking at the charts. So we're going to go to the charts and then we're going to lock in. All right. So like I said, we're going to focus on the analysis for November. Right. And then we're going to focus on the trades and the setups for December. All right. Now, these are trades that are based off of a bigger time frame. All right. I'm still going to do my weekly watch list videos, but every month I like to kind of give you guys a overarching, look and outlook on what's going on. All right. So we're going to go to the charts and we're going to get busy, y'all. All right. Before we go deeper, I'm going to say like this video. All right. If you guys have not, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, none of this is financial advice, right? If you guys want financial advice, please go to your financial advisor. Go seek a professional. All I'm doing is sharing with you guys what I'm seeing on these charts. All right. So let's go right here. All right. So here we go, y'all. All right. So we have. All right. So this is Uber, but let's go to the SPY. All right. So if we go to the SPY, right? If we go to SPY right here, so this is on a daily, right? So as you guys can see, we've had a crazy reversal, not just reversal, but recovery right here. So let's go see what they did for the past couple weeks. All right, this last week it was a 2-2 reversal, but on the monthly, we have right here, right? So, all right. So on the monthly time frame, this is what SPY looks like. Now, if this was at the bottom of a downtrend, I would say it's a reversal, right? But this could be, it looks bullish, right? But I've seen trends that this is the end of a trend, right? I've seen that before. Now, we did come down pretty hard in November, so we barely posted a loss, right? These are things to pay attention to. We barely posted a loss right here, right? Only down on the month, we opened at 683 and we closed at 683, right? So we talking about less than 1% loss for the month of November, right? So for November, we're going to be looking for SPY to touch all-time highs. All right, we're almost there, so that's going to be easy. So if we break above 685.89, right, then calls, right? We could be going into a bigger uptrend. And then we have all-time highs that are sitting at 689.87. So we're going to go to all-time highs. at 689.87. I said 689.68. Okay, 689.68 all-time highs. We're gonna hit all-time highs in December. That's guaranteed, right? So, and that was a correction. We opened at 685.89 for November, and then we closed at 683, right? But that's still less than 1% on the month, right? So all-time highs are at 689.68. So, SPY, all I'm gonna say is pay attention to the trend lines. That's all you can do, right? If you go to like the hourly, you can zoom out and just pay attention to the trend lines, right? So for example, we got this right here, right? We got this right here, trend, right? And then we got boom, okay? So right there, right there. So when next month, I want you guys to just pay attention to the lows and the highs. So like this is a downtrend, and then when we break through the trend line right there, we go into an uptrend, right? And then we came back down. So now, right here, we're going to say boom, right? And then boom right here. All right. So pay attention to this trend right here with SPY, right? Now, as we're going up, I do want you to pay attention that it is getting a little tighter, right? So on the hourly, this could be, we could squeeze and get tight up here, and then we could reject and we can come down. So that is something to pay attention to. But when we zoom out, this is on the hourly, right? Now let's go to the daily time frame. If we go to the daily time frame, right? So right here we're on the daily time frame, and look what happened. So this is that pullback, okay? So now we're on a daily time frame, and let's look right here. So we go from here to here, all right? Really right here, right? When you really, so it broke the downtrend channel, the uptrend channel, and then it came down, right? Now we're coming back in that uptrend channel right here, right? So, boom, right? So, SPY could break through all-time highs and then come up to like 705, 704, 700, right? Really 700 is where you want to pay attention to, because at 700, the SPY can definitely reject, and then it could come down hard. So that's what you want to pay attention to on SPY, right? Coming back in this little trend right here, we do have to get above right here and then get above right here, all-time highs, and then we'll make new all-time highs, and then maybe pull back a little bit and then go back up for the rest of December, okay? So that's what I'm seeing on SPY, right? So really, when we're looking at the monthly on SPY, just look at right here and just pay attention to the previous month's highs, right? Previous month's highs, we opened up here and we just came straight down, bounced right here, and then we pushed up, right? So that's where we at with the SPY. When we look at IWM, on IWM is very similar. We do have a failed 2 down right here on the monthly time frame. So for IWM, I'm going to be looking for IWM to have a beautiful December, right? They're going to come back up and touch 252. They're only a couple dollars away, and they're going to make new all-time highs, okay? So if they get above 248.83 on Monday, Tuesday, then calls and we can ride that thing up, all right? So I definitely think that IWM is going to come up here and test these all-time highs and then make new all-time highs as well, all right? When you look at them on the monthly, well, let's go to the daily time frame, right? Let's look at their trend. If you look at IWM's trend, all right, right here, so boom, right, all the way down here, pushed up, and then came up here, right, and it broke through that downtrend right there. Do this one again. All right, so Boom, right? So we have this trend line right here. Broke through. Now it's coming up, right? Today was a consolidation day, right? Today, IWM consolidated, right? So once we get right above here, we're going to come here. We're going to come to this order block, maybe reject and then go up higher. And then we have all-time highs right here. Once we get above there, they can really pump. And then from there, we just have to kind of pay attention to see, right? But when I'm looking at the monthly time frame for IWM, we on a failed 2 down. We get above that 248. You can say 249 to be safe. Get above there, get in the calls, and we blast off. All right. So, so that's what I'm seeing right there. Now, the key thing, let me say this right here. The key thing that you want to focus on this coming up week, right, to really know where the market is going is you're going to need to pay attention to the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. All right. The reason why I say that is because on the monthly, a lot of things look bearish, right? And but this past week, we had if we're basing everything off the strat method, we had a lot of 2-2 bullish reversals. Okay. So we had a lot of red candles 2 weeks ago. Well, last week. And then this week we had a nice green candle and we broke above the previous week's highs, right? That's a 2-2 bullish reversal. So you're going to want to understand what we did last month. Then you're going to want to look at the weekly, and then you're going to want to look at the daily time frame. All right. And that's going to help you with your day trading. Right. So I have 4 stocks that I'm going to be looking at for the month. Right now, I'm looking at these stocks on the monthly time frame for my entry levels. Right. For my entries. But I'm going to be paying attention to the weekly time frames as well. So the first stock that I'm going to be looking at for this month, let me go right here. All right. So the first stock that I'm going to be looking at this month is going to be Lululemon. All right. Now let's look. So they have this demand zone that they broke through, right? They broke through this demand zone. They came all the way down. Right here. Now, look at this, right? Broke through that demand zone. Now they bounced off the 200 EMA right here, right? Now, if you could understand this, they bounced off this 200 EMA right here from 161. This is off the monthly time frame, right? So we're sitting at right here. This is on a monthly, okay? So if Lululemon gets above 186.98, enter in the calls, okay? And you could get like January's expiration dates on them, okay? So calls above 186.98. All right? Calls above 186.98. On Lululemon, and my first price target is going to be 206. Okay. Price target is going to be 206. All right. So this is my first stock that I'm looking at right here for the month. Bounce off the 200 EMA. We consolidated last in October. Now we look like we're trying to break above right here. If we get above that high, boom, we have nothing but room, okay? And we could come up to $200. So calls above 186.98, and that's going to be for Lululemon, okay? The next stock that I'm going to be looking at for the month is going to be VRT, okay, VRT. So last month we consolidated. It says a bearish consolidation, right? But a lot of buying pressure has came in over the past month, right? If you look at the weekly right here, we consolidated, but we had a bullish consolidation right here, right? So this is what I mean when I say you want to pay attention to the weekly time frame, the monthly time frame, and also the daily time frame, okay? It looks very bullish on the daily. It could be coming up to 199, which is a $200 level. It rejected at that $200 level last time, so it's going to come up here to retest again, okay? So from 140 all the way to $200, that's a $20 move, okay? Lululemon was a $20 move. VRT is a $20 move right here. Okay, so we could get continuation off this daily time frame and pump up to $200, right? On the weekly time frame, right, we got to get above right here at 180.57, and we close at 180.45. So we're going to trigger that next week, right? And now let's go to the monthly time frame. Okay, on the monthly time frame, you could say if you get above 197.30, right? But this is when you start understanding your multi-time frames, right? If you go to the weekly time frame, we just closed at 180.45. We on a 2-1 bullish, right? Bullish reversal pattern getting set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to say calls. We're going to say enter in the calls, right? Calls above 180.57. All right. Calls above 180.57. Right. Now your first price target is going to be last month's high. Right. Your first price target is going to be last month's high at 197. Okay. So we're going to go here. I'm going to say first price target is going to be 197.93. Okay. Now our second price target is going to be right here. You could say 202, right? You really want to pay attention to 202. Well, $200, right? That's that psychological level, right? So we're going to say 202, right? So these are going to be my price targets for VRT right here, right? So you see off the weekly, right? Calls above here, 180.57. You ride it up to last month's high, 197. All right, that's $17 move right there. And then if it breaks above here, you can stay in a trade, come up to 202, see if it rejects or if it pushes through. If it pushes through, you stay in a trade, and then you could go higher. All right. Now, they're close to all-time highs, right? As you can see right here, they're close to all-time highs. So if they break past all-time highs, they could pump for a minute before they have a pullback. All right. So that's the other stock that I'm looking at. The third stock that I'm looking at for the month of December is going to be Reddit. All right. Now let's look at Reddit. Reddit was just at 283. Okay. This could be an absolute monstrous banger. All right. So if you look at the monthly, we're on a failed two down right here. Okay. We closed at 217.37. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the monthly time frame, and we're going to say, okay, calls come in a little bit more, and we're going to say, okay, calls above 220.60. All right. So calls above 220.60. All right. Very simple. Calls above 220.60 is what I'm going to be looking at for Reddit, right? And then my first price target is going to be 231. All right. First price target is going to be 231. It's going to be 231. Okay. That's going to be the first price target. If we get above 231, you're going to see Reddit have an insane move. And my next price target is going to be 282.94. Now let me come down to the weekly time frame, right? I'm going to be a little bit more modest, and I'm going to say my next price target is going to be 247.72. All right. So I'm going to say right here, second price target is going to be 247.72, I said. Boom. All right. Just like that. Okay. So on Reddit, calls above 220.60. And then my price target is going to be 247.72. All right. And then the first price target is going to be 231. Okay. So that's Reddit. If you look at the monthly, This looks like a beautiful setup right here. It already came down in 173, bounced, and it pushed up. Now look what we doing, right? We're gonna try to retest these all-time highs right here. All right, so that's the third stock that I got. I'm gonna give you guys one last bonus one right here. All right, one last bonus one. We're gonna be looking at Intel, right? Now look at Intel on a monthly time frame right here, right? We're on another failed 2 down right here. So what we're gonna say is, we're gonna say calls above 4070. First thing, calls above 4070. All right, right here, calls above 4070. Now, if we get above there, we got a couple price targets. My first price target is going to be 42.47. 42.47. All right, that's my first price target right there. Then my next price target, we have an order block up here at $49. So you could really say 50, but I like to be conservative. And so I'm going to say my next price target is going to be 45.39. All right. Second is going to be 45.49. All right. Perfect. So this is what I would do right here. Okay. Boom. Break this high right here. That's the first price target. And then the next price target is going to be 45.49. Not 49.99, 49, 45.49. All right. So we could get a $5 move right here, and that would be an increase of over 10% on the equity. All right. So we got Lululemon, we got VRT, right? We got Lululemon, we got VRT, we got Reddit, and we got Intel. All right. Those are the stocks I'm looking at for the month of December, right? Now, the month of December, you got to think about the Santa Claus rally, right? The new month starts on Monday. So at some point, we may get a small pullback, but at the end of the day, these setups are looking bullish. IWM is looking bullish for small cap stocks. SPY is looking bullish, but we still got to see what's going on. I'm not saying stocks aren't going to come down. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just telling you guys what I see and what setups I see. If you see some setups that resonate with you, then please, by all means, feel free to go check those out and go take those entries. All right. If you can't make money off of this channel, I don't know. I'll be giving you these things pinpoint, right, accurate. So be sure, if you like these setups, you could day trade these setups if they break those levels. You could swing trade them. You could do whatever you want to do. All right. So like I always say, I hope that this video helped you guys out. If you got to this point in the video, be sure to let me know in the comments which setup you like best. You rocking with Reddit? You rocking with Intel? You like that VRT? You like that Lululemon? Right? Put the ticker in the comments and let me know what you guys like. All right. Like I always say, make sure you get up out your head. Go get into this world, because your head is a dangerous place to live. All right. And also remember, y'all, the more you study, the less you worry. All right. I appreciate y'all time. Y'all have a great day, a great weekend, and all y'all stay smooth, man. Peace.